Okay, so like, imagine this, you're drowning in to-dos, right? You're looking at this giant list and you're just thinking, man, I need like a whole army of interns to get through this.
Oh, yeah. I feel that.
Well, what if I told you that a team in China, they might have actually cracked the code, like literally with this new AI called Manus.
Mm.
And they're claiming it's the first globally available general purpose AI agent out there.
Right.
Like we're talking potential game changer here.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's more than just your typical like AI assistant.
Right.
What makes Manus different is that it's designed to be more like a digital apprentice. Instead of just, blindly following instructions, the goal is to have it learn and adapt as it goes.
Okay, so for this deep dive, you've been digging deep, right? You've got
Right.
user reviews, discussions from WeChat groups, even some insider info from closed door meetings.
That's right.
I feel like we're getting some serious behind the scenes access here.
Definitely.
So let's break it down for our listeners. What is the core idea behind Manus?
Well, the phrase that keeps popping up everywhere is less structure, more intelligence.
Okay, I like that.
So instead of being programmed for like very specific tasks, Manus is designed to kind of learn on its own and evolve based on what you need and prefer.
So it's not just checking things off a list, but actually understanding the work and figuring out how to do it.
Exactly.
Got it. But what does that look like in reality, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the reviews talk about this real person working kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Is that just marketing hype or is there something more to it?
I think it's more than hype. One user even described watching Manus independently write code to get stock data, and then it like planned out the next steps for analysis and even troubleshooted any errors it ran into.
Wow.
It's that ability to work on its own that has people so excited.
Okay. That's impressive. But is it only good for coding or can it handle other types of tasks as well?
It can actually do a surprisingly wide range of things. We've seen reports of it generating drafts, novels, crafting presentations, planning trips, even creating educational animations.
Hold on, novel drafts. We're talking full-length novels here.
Yeah, think like 17,000 words, not bad for a digital apprentice, right?
That's wild. It
Right.
really is like having this multi-talented teammate that can jump between totally different projects.
Exactly.
All right, but let's be realistic here. No AI is perfect.
Right.
What are Manus's limitations? What can't it do?
You're absolutely right. There are definitely some areas where it's still under development. For example, tasks that require logins or CAPTCHs, those prove you're not a robot things. Those are still tricky for Manus.
So even a super intelligent AI can't escape those.
Apparently no.
Makes sense.
And
Anything else it struggles with?
well, in some areas like creating PowerPoint presentations, it's not quite as polished as some of the more established players like Baidu.
Mm.
But even with those limitations, Manus is still incredibly powerful, and a big part of that is how it approaches the user experience.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. How does Manus create this seamless user experience? What's the secret sauce?
Well, they have this three-pronged strategy. They call it the three axes that really sets them apart.
Ooh, I love a good strategy breakdown. Lay it on me. What's axis number one?
Okay, so the first one is called pairing with a computer. And basically what that means is Manus isn't just stuck, in a box. It has access to a cloud browser and a whole bunch of tools so it can do things without you needing to constantly give it input.
Got it. So it's like having that super efficient assistant who can browse code and analyze data all on their own.
Exactly.
That sounds incredibly efficient.
Right.
All right, what about axis number two?
Axis number 2 is open permissions. And this is all about integration. Manus can actually tap into private APIs and pull data from like really authoritative sources.
Oh, wow.
So let's say it needs to do some financial analysis. It can get data directly from, financial indicators instead of relying on you to feed it the numbers.
So it's not just a closed system. It's like plugged into this whole universe of information and tools online.
Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, bring on axis number 3. I have a feeling this is where that whole digital apprentice idea really comes into play.
You got it. Axis number 3 is dynamic training, and it's all about shaping Manus's behavior based on your feedback in real time. You can tell it what output format you prefer, highlight specific needs, and over time it learns how to tailor its work to your style and requirements.
That's amazing.
It's like molding a raw talent into this highly specialized expert.
Okay, I'm loving this.
Right.
So we've talked about what it's like to actually use Manus and the strategies that make it so powerful, but how do they measure its value?
Right.
I'm guessing, traditional metrics like speed or accuracy don't really tell the whole story here.
Yeah, you're right. Manus actually uses a brand new metric called agentic hours per user, or AHPU.
AHPU. Okay, I'm intrigued. Break that down for me. What does that even mean?
So AHPU is all about how much time you save by delegating tasks to the AI. It's not just about how fast Manus can finish one thing, but how much of your time it frees up by doing a bunch of things at once.
Ah, okay. So it's about reclaiming our time.
Exactly.
I like that a lot. But all this power has to be built on some pretty serious tech, right? What's going on under the hood with Manus?
This is where it gets really interesting. Manus uses the coding power of what are called large language models, or LLMs, to generate code in real time. They call it just-in-time coding.
Just-in-time coding. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Help me understand, why is this such a big deal?
Well, think of it this way. Manus isn't limited by pre-programmed functions. If it needs a specific tool to do something, it can actually write the code for that tool right then and there.
Wow, so it's creating its own tools as it goes? That's next level.
It is. It's super efficient and adaptable.
Okay, so why is this just-in-time approach better than traditional coding?
It all comes down to efficiency.
Yeah.
By generating code on the fly, Manus basically streamlines the whole process.
Yep.
It minimizes that back and forth, making everything run smoother.
Got it. And that also means it can adapt to a wider range of tasks without being limited by a fixed set of tools.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see why everyone is so excited about this. We've got just-in-time coding dynamic training, access to a whole universe of data. What other tricks does Manus have up its sleeve?
Well, one of the key advantages is that it can interact with the web in a multimodal way. It doesn't just read text on a website. It can actually understand the content, click on links, fill out forms, even interact with those dynamic elements.
So it's like it's really using the web, not just reading it.
Exactly. It's like it's browsing the web.
Incredible. And this ties back to that dynamic learning idea we were talking about, right?
It does. User feedback doesn't just fine-tune things, it actually modifies Manus's behavior. So it's constantly evolving and learning from your interactions, becoming more specialized and efficient over time.
So it's not just following instructions, it's learning from its mistakes, adapting to your preferences, and becoming a better agent with every task.
Exactly.
That's truly remarkable. But with all this talk about revolutionizing work and boosting productivity, there have to be some challenges, right? No technology is without its hurdles. What are the potential roadblocks for Manus?
Well, some of the discussions online have highlighted a few concerns. One is testability in long context scenarios. So when you're dealing with really complex tasks that require a lot of back and forth, Manus can sometimes struggle to maintain consistency.
So it's not quite ready to write that epic saga just yet.
Maybe not a multi-volume epic, but it's getting there.
Okay, what else?
Another concern is resource consumption, specifically token usage. All these complex operations can use up a lot of tokens, which can translate to higher costs.
Ah, the economics of AI. Always a factor. Are there any other potential bumps in the road?
A big one is the tension between the goal of a general AI agent and the need to cater to individual user needs. How do you build an AI that's both adaptable and specialized? It's a tough balancing act.
That's a really interesting dilemma. It makes you wonder if Manus will be for everyone or if it will be more niche. And what about competition? Are there other companies trying to do something similar?
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of activity in this space. There's the potential for large language models to internalize these general capabilities and become their own agents. And there are companies like Kuz and DiFi who are working on similar products. It's definitely a race.
It sounds like Manus is really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with AI.
Yeah.
But what about user feedback? What are people saying needs improvement?
There are a few common threads. A lot of users want to see those login and key PTCHA issues addressed, and there are requests for improved intent recognition, so Manus can better understand what you're asking it to do. Better documentation is also high on the wish list.
Those all seem like pretty valid points. It seems like Manus is still a work in progress, but it's clearly a major leap forward in the world of AI agents. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on a comment that really stuck with me. Someone said that Manus might not be a mass market product just yet. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, that comment really gets to the heart of what makes Manus so intriguing. It's pushing the boundaries, but it also raises questions about who will benefit most from these advancements.
So who is the ideal user for Manus right now? Is it just for tech-savvy individuals, or are we talking about something that could eventually change the way everyone works?
That's a question we'll explore further in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, so stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our deep dive into Manus, the AI agent that's blurring the lines between assistant and autonomous worker. Last week we left off with a big question: who is Manus actually for? Is it just a cool new toy for tech enthusiasts, or does it have the potential to change how we work on a larger scale?
Yeah, it's a great question and one that comes up a lot.
Mhm.
On the one hand, you have these users who are describing Manus as like managing a team of interns. So these are people who are already comfortable delegating tasks and overseeing like a semi-autonomous workforce.
Yeah, so maybe not something your average social media scroller is going to pick up right away.
Probably not. But then you have users, like that middle school teacher, who used Manus to create an interactive animation demonstrating the principle of momentum. It shows that you don't need to be a coding whiz to benefit from what Manus can do.
It's fascinating how those two perspectives, the tech-savvy manager and the non-technical educator, are both drawn to Manus. It makes me wonder if this technology could actually bridge the gap between those who code and those who don't.
That's exactly what's so exciting about this. And it leads us to this concept of labor scaling.
Okay, labor scaling.
Oh.
I like the sound of that, but I need a little more to go on. What does that actually look like in practice?
Imagine a world where you can delegate tasks to a team of AI agents that can work like 24/7 without breaks. And with incredible efficiency. You could be focusing on, analyzing market trends while Manus is simultaneously creating a presentation, drafting a blog post, even scheduling your meetings.
So it's not about replacing human workers, but about augmenting our abilities, helping us achieve more than we ever could on our own. That's powerful. But realistically, how close are we to this vision of labor scaling? Is Manus the tipping point, or is this still a far-off future?
It's still early days, but Manus is a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Think about it. It can access information process, it make decisions, and even take action autonomously. That's a level of agency we haven't really seen before in an AI agent.
It does feel like a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
But even if Manus does become like a catalyst for this labor scaling revolution, there are some wider implications to consider. What about the potential impact on the workforce? Are we talking about mass unemployment, or will it lead to a reskilling revolution?
That's the million-dollar question, and there's a lot of debate about it. Some people are concerned that AI agents like Manus will inevitably displace human workers and lead to job losses across different sectors. Others believe that it will create new opportunities, shifting the focus from manual tasks to more creative and strategic work.
It's like that age-old question, will AI replace us or empower us?
Oh, exactly. And the truth is probably somewhere in between. It's likely that some jobs will be automated, but new roles will emerge that require those uniquely human skills like critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and complex decision-making.
So it's not just about learning to code.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating those human skills that AI can't replicate. It makes you wonder what those skills will be and how we can prepare for this new world of work.
That's something we'll be diving into in the final part of our deep dive.
All right, so stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent this episode exploring Manus and its potential to reshape work through labor scaling and how it's pushing the boundaries of AI.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It really has. But before we wrap things up, we promised our listeners some practical advice, right?
Right.
So let's get down to it. In a world where AI agents like Manus are becoming more and more sophisticated, what can our listener do to prepare? Should we all be rushing to sign up for coding boot camps, or are there other less technical things we can focus on? Well, coding is definitely a valuable skill, but it's not the only path to success in an AI-powered future. Actually, some of the most crucial skills are uniquely human, the kinds of things AI just can't replicate.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are these essential human skills that will set us apart in the age of AI?
One that really stands out is critical thinking. AI can process information incredibly fast, but it still struggles with things like nuanced judgment, ethical considerations, and the ability to connect seemingly unrelated ideas. These are all areas where humans excel.
So it's about being able to discern, evaluate, and see the bigger picture, the things that AI might miss.
What else? Creativity is another big one. AI can generate text, images, and even music, but true creative breakthroughs often come from human intuition, emotions, and lived experiences. These are things AI can't fully replicate, at least not yet.
So it's about thinking outside the box, coming up with innovative solutions and expressing ourselves in ways that go beyond algorithms and data sets. It almost sounds like a call to embrace our humanity, our unique quirks and perspectives in a world that's becoming increasingly automated.
I think that's a great way to put it. And this ties into another really vital skill, communication. Being able to clearly and persuasively articulate your ideas and to do so with empathy will become even more valuable in a world where we're collaborating with both humans and AI agents.
It's like we're developing a new language, a way to bridge the gap between human intuition and artificial intelligence. I'm also curious about emotional intelligence. It's a buzzword we hear a lot these days. How does that factor into this AI-powered future?
Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage emotions, is going to be essential for navigating the complex relationships we'll have with AI. We'll need to be able to build trust with AI agents, interpret their outputs with a critical eye, and even provide them with feedback that helps them learn and improve.
It's almost like we're becoming mentors to these digital apprentices, teaching them not just how to perform tasks, but how to navigate the nuances of human interaction.
Yeah.
That's a pretty profound shift in perspective.
It is, and it highlights the importance of another crucial skill: adaptability. The world is changing so rapidly, and those who can embrace new technologies, learn new skills, and adjust to new ways of working will be the ones who thrive.
So it's not about fearing AI or trying to resist its inevitable rise. It's about embracing the possibilities, learning how to leverage its strengths, and focusing on the human skills that complement and guide its development. It's a partnership, not a competition.
Exactly. And this brings us back to Manus. It's more than just a cool new technology. It's a window into a future where human ingenuity and artificial intelligence worked together to achieve some pretty extraordinary things.
It's a future that's both exciting and a little bit daunting. But as we've seen in this deep dive, it's a future that we can shape, that we can prepare for, and that ultimately we can use to unlock our full potential.
So to our listener, we leave you with this: don't be afraid to experiment, to learn, and to adapt. Embrace the possibilities of AI while staying true to your humanity. The future is ours to create.
That's a wrap on our Manus Deep Dive. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of knowledge.